I'm going to call the meeting of the Corte Madera Town Council and Sanitary District to order for Tuesday, October 16th. We'll start with roll call.
Councilmember Bailey.
Here.
Councilmember Beckman.
Here.
Councilmember Kuhnhart.
Here.
Vice Mayor Andrews.
Here.
Mayor Ravazio.
Here. And I ask for everyone to join me in the salute to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first we have open time for public comment. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. And we are not allowed to talk about any of the items, so the council's not allowed to address them. So if you came here and you wanted to address us for open time, now's the time to do so. Please take the microphone and make sure you give your name and where you live.
Yeah.
'Cause you're on TV.
Right, I've seen it. David Hyams, Enterprise Drive. An idea that I had for an agenda item, a forthcoming agenda item. We're all aware of the climate report that came out a few days ago, and I know the town has an interest in the item. In fact, last year, I believe, we joined a number of other cities and towns and jurisdictions across the country. And I know several of you have a particular interest in that subject. And I would be interested in hearing from our town manager a brief conversation about what the town has been able to do, what you'd like to do but have some problems with, and just kind of where we are as a town in facing up to the problems of climate change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And as noted, we're not allowed to talk about anything that comes up in open time until the next meeting. Anybody else? Yes, open public comment. If you can please give your name and where you live.
Hello, I'm Peter Posert. I live in Navajo, but I thought I'd come by and talk to y'all tonight. I was recently hired by the local solar power firm, Solarcraft, to do some interesting work, and I thought I'd just make y'all aware of it. For many years, I've been an energy auditor at home residential work, and we've set a new goal for ourselves as I think one of the first, maybe one of the only firms around here that can convert homes to zero carbon. And that's work that not a lot of people do, climate in attics and underfloors, and my crew and I are starting to build that out, but we want to hire some more. I think the work of converting homes, which is a huge part of carbon gas emissions, to zero carbon is going to take a lot of crews. It's going to take a lot of people, a lot of good jobs. And anything you can do to support that would be great. And if anybody wants to pursue that, let me know. I'm with Solarcraft now, and I'll stick around here for a little while for sure. It's a big pile of work to get off carbon. And we're just starting that process now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then we're going to move into presentations. And wow, this is the second time I've gotten to do this as mayor. I got to do this about 7 years ago. Tonight we have a presentation of awards in honor of Pauline's 110th birthday, which is just amazing. So excited and honored for you to be here tonight. It's just fantastic. Is my microphone on? Let's see.
Not so much.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'll try to talk closer. I'm not gonna take up a lot of time, don't worry. I'm just gonna read a couple of quick quotes. She was featured in the IJ a couple of times recently at various parties. And among other things I found that were interesting was that Pauline grew up in Oklahoma that had only become a state the year before her birth. Her father was a homesteader. And when asked what it was like to live on the edge of civilization, she said, "I grew up with Indians and outlaws." Which I thought was, and you still live around a few, I think. No, we're better than that. She moved to Marin in 1958, so 60 years ago this year, right? Yes, fantastic. And she retired as president of the Ladies Auxiliary for Twin Cities Post 313 of the American Legion at the age of 104. And she gave some advice to the reporter from the IGN. I just wanted to read it because I thought it was great advice. It says, she said, "Take care of yourself to the best of your ability, watch what you eat, and above all, be nice to people. Consider their feelings and don't be so self-centered," which I think is wonderful advice for anybody and everybody. So Pauline, thank you. We have up here on the table a number of letters. We have one from Governor Jerry Brown. We have one from Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom. We have one from Senator Dianne Feinstein. We have one from Senator Kamala Harris. We have one from Congressman Jared Huffman. And we have one from Assemblyman Mark Levine. And we also have another one, and we have him here in person, our County Supervisor, Dennis Rodoni, who was going to speak for a minute. So Dennis.
Thank you so much, Mayor Ravazio and council members. I'm really pleased to be here tonight, one, to visit you, but also to celebrate Pauline's birthday. A few days late, but we're still celebrating. You know, it's interesting that we made 2018 the year of the older adult in Marin, and I'm proud to be here with the oldest adult in Marin tonight and celebrate her 110th birthday. This afternoon, the Board of Supervisors, this morning, the Board of Supervisors acknowledged you and passed a resolution announcing that you're commending Pauline Engelman for the occasion of her 110th birthday, and therefore that the Board of Supervisors wish Pauline the very happy 110th birthday with many more celebrations to come. And it was passed and adopted this morning, October 16th, 2018. So happy birthday, Pauline. And I've met you and seen you at many parties, so I know you're a party goer. That's terrific. So happy birthday from the County of Marin.
Thank you, Dennis. And sure. Pauline, would you like to speak? Let's give her the microphone.
Hold on. Oh, let me stand up.
And do this right.
So I can address our honorable mayor and all his constituents. It seems it's getting to be a habit. Really. And, well, of course, I enjoy it very much, every minute of it. And it just, you can't imagine how I might feel about this, especially growing up in the country with who I grew up with, and then come here and meet all these fine people, and everyone being so nice to me. It's just unbelievable. And if folks wonder and curious as to why I am 110 and still getting around and driving my car, I'm just as much confused as you are. I really are. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'll see you next year.
I hope so. Absolutely. And we'll have you back. We're gonna take a short break. There was one other birthday I wanted to mention. Eli Beckman, our council member, his birthday is today, but you're less than 100, aren't
I'm
you?
a little less.
He's less than 1
Okay, we're not gonna
quarter.
spend a lot of time on that then.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
why don't we stop and have cake? Everybody, let's take a short break, and we're gonna have some cake in honor of Pauline. Pauline, thank you so much. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Almost. Sorry. We're all gonna sign this, and I almost forgot, of course, we have something from the Town Council of Corte Madera, Certificate of Recognition For Pauline, for reaching this remarkable milestone, we are truly honored to celebrate your 110th birthday by your side. Your strength, exceptional generosity, and amazing spirit are only a few of the many distinguished qualities that make you a one-of-a-kind Corte Maderan. We wish you a very blessed and joyful 110th birthday. Presented this 16th day of October 2018 in Corte Madera, California, and it's from the entire town council in the town of Corte Madera. Thank you. Cake? Okay, thank you. We all need to sign this.
There we go.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Pauline, you're a hero.
Thank you, Pauline. Happy birthday. Thank you
Right
for
back
coming
at
this
you.
evening. Okay, we're gonna get started again.
I just want to report that she blew out the candles with one solid breath. It's amazing.
Great. Okay, we're gonna reconvene the meeting and we're gonna move on to the consent calendar. The purpose of the consent calendar is to group items together which are routine or been discussed previously, do not require further discussion, approved by a single motion. Any member of the town council, staff, or public may request removal of an item for discussion. Does anybody on the council want to remove any of the items from, or the public have any comments or want to pull anything from consent?
Mr. Mayor, I don't want to pull, but I would like to comment briefly on two of them.
Okay,
The diesel free by 33 and the consolidation JPA,
Go ahead.
if I could. On the diesel free by 33, this afternoon there was a wonderful event and gathering at Civic Center, and Councilmember Beckman and I happened to go there. Our congressman, our assembly member Mark Levine, two county supervisors, Marin Transit Board President, and TAM Board Chair and Golden Gate Bus and Highway Transportation President were there to celebrate the acquisition of two all-electric buses by Marin Transit. Two all-electric, no diesel. Yes, they are more expensive by about $200K up front, but they save about $500K over the life of the bus. So it's a net benefit of $300,000 for each of these electric buses, which are beautifully air-conditioned, quiet, and gorgeous. Just want to tell you.
Okay.
Going diesel-free is not necessarily expensive on the net basis. And it,
thank you.
on the other, it is a business item.
Okay,
Zip.
we'll talk. Then I will entertain a motion.
Items 412 to 414. But not 411.
Or 415.
Okay, so,
Okay, and I'll second that motion, 411 through 41.5.
okay,
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Beckman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kuhnhart?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Andrews?
Yes.
Mayor Ravazio?
yes. Okay, we move on to sanitary district items. It says none, but then there's actually two. So I will entertain a motion to sanitary district items.
I'd like to move items 421 to 422. Second.
Board Member Bailey?
Yes.
Board Member Beckman?
Yes.
Board Member Kuhnhart?
Yes.
Vice President Andrews?
Yes.
President Ravazio?
Yes. Okay, there are no public hearings. We're going to move on to business items. 6.1.1, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 57/2018, adopting proposed amendments to Central Marin Fire JPA between the town of Corte Madera and the city of Larkspur.
I feel like this has been our life for the last 2 years.
This has been a haul.
So, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As you know, and we have a briefer background in the staff report, but this has been an ongoing work in progress really since 2012 with both the city of Larkspur and the town of Corte Madera. August 15th of 2017, we adopted the Joint Powers Authority, creating the Central Marin Fire Authority. And at the time, we did it in advance to work through some regulatory issues. At the same time, a statewide issue occurred with CalPERS and really put a halt to all future JPAs until we work through that legislative issue. I'm happy to report we problem solved and worked through it, and it's something I'm really proud of because the town of Corte Madera actually has their name on this issue of solving it, not only for our JPA, but for future JPAs. As you know, the IRS in CalPERS was had an understanding with an IRS regulation dating back to 2013, and since that date, really the Central Marin Police Authority was the last JPA formed in the state of California through CalPERS on a CalPERS contract. And so we, as you know, we came back through the hopper with the fire authority, and now we had to problem solve this, not only for ourselves, but I think for everyone in the state, and we really try to take a leadership role on that. After we staff testified at a CalPERS board meeting, it became really clear to us that we had to really look into and solve this IRS issue that CalPERS had. And really Teresa Stricker and her office are the ones that took that upon themselves. They did the research and problem solved this issue with us. And ultimately, we wouldn't be here today without Teresa and the work that they did with the IRS regulations and really debunking it. And so that's why we're here now. We came to a verbal agreement with CalPERS. This JPA amendment reflects that. I'm happy to go through it with you. We had some cleanup language that really starts on page 2. The Fire Council Secretary will be our very own Rebecca Vaughn. The Finance Director will be Daria Carrillo, our Finance Director. And I will be the Executive Manager year 1 of the Fire Authority. Sections 4.3, 8.1 through 8.5 are really the amendments on page 2 and 3 with CalPERS. And in summary, really how we took this was previous unfunded liabilities or liabilities stay with the member agencies, Corte Madera and Larkspur. So that's us. They stay with us. As we move forward, we're sharing all costs 50-50 unless our council for Corte Madera and Larkspur vote to change that. And so everything else is exactly the intent that we intended when we originally approved the authority. It mirrors the Central Marin Police Authority. It may be something that we want to consider moving forward of making some of these amendments for the police authority, because I think this is a better document. But everything stays the same. So our annual funding formula with the budget will rest with the police council, or I'm sorry, with the fire council. But the Fire Council doesn't have the authority to change the unfunded apportionments moving. So if they were to change that 50-50 model, it would have to come back to the Corte Madera and Larkspur councils. And so those are the amendments. I'm happy to walk through each one with you if you would like, but I'll just tell you in summary, we have everything that we need and our original intent was meant for, and Teresa and her office are a big part of that. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. And one other thing, I just want to acknowledge the chief and his staff. They have really gone, just above and beyond, working with us through human resources issues, you name it, not knowing who you are and being really merged operationally for the past 2 years. They've really put themselves out there, and we haven't heard any complaints from them, right? And so I can't say enough about them, and we have better services as a town and city because of them. So thank you, Chief, and to your staff. Really awesome. I'm really excited about this. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from council for staff? Hearing none, I'm going to open it up to the public for comments or questions. Anybody wish to speak? Wow, nobody. Okay. Then I will bring it back to the council for comments.
Excellent job all around. The thorough report, the JPA we've been over repeatedly is nothing but good. I just think we all couldn't be happier. I'm willing to make a motion unless somebody would like to proselytize.
I just wanted to say one thing, if I may. I won't proselytize. I won't do that. I can't even pronounce it.
Couldn't possibly do it. Can't pronounce
I
it.
can't even do it. Obviously, you guys have done an amazing job. But I'm just so happy to be here tonight because this started so long ago. And I think it actually started with the councils. Michael Lapper and I sat down with Catherine Way and Larry Chu, and the four of us met and said, how do we make this happen? And that was a long time ago, and there has been a lot of water.
It was a good beginning, though.
It was, and we have figured it out, and the goal from the beginning was better service and saving money, and we have done that. And we did it because the firemen have been great about this since day one. Our staff has been great, Scott, Todd, and also Teresa. So I just wanted to say thank you. This has been a long haul, and this is just a huge move forward for the town. I am really thrilled that we finally got here, because I know this was not easy. There were more than a few monkey wrenches thrown in this. So thank you both for all of this.
Thank you all.
So you'll be fully
Mr. Mayor.
engaged, what, January 1 or October, whenever?
Yes, so the next steps are we will, if we approve it tonight, Larkspur will hopefully approve it tomorrow night. We will submit it to CalPERS at the end of the week, and we plan on being fully operational and approved with CalPERS by January 1st is our goal.
Great.
And it'll most likely be before that.
I would like to proselytize by saying ditto. Fabulous work, really fabulous work. And ask one question, Mr. Mayor, which is, the JPA essentially is 50-50, Larkspur and Corte Madera, and there are two members from each. Have we already appointed our two, or is that in the future? Or is,
No, we
Oh.
we did that last in June.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
in July. Yeah, it's one night. Okay.
I'll move that we approve resolution number 57/2018, adopting the proposed amendments to the Central Marin Fire Joint Powers Authority Agreement between the town of Corte Madera and the city of Larkspur.
Second. Hey, if you go to the meeting, you have to get into the minutes, right?
Everybody wants this.
You could say jointly seconded in the record if you want.
Noted. Councilmember Bailey.
Yes.
Councilmember Beckman.
Yes.
Councilmember Kuhnhart.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Andrews.
Yes.
Mayor Ravazio.
Yes. Great. Congratulations. Thank you for all the work you guys have done, because I know this has been a haul, so thanks. Moving on to item 6.1.2, consideration and possible action to approve resolution 58/2018, authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with, I'm not going to pronounce this, for transactions and use tax audit and information services for the base amount of $6,600 per year. Todd, I'm going to flip this over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So this is something that staff has been aware of. HDL provides a service. It's Hinderleader, DeYamas and Associates,
Thank you.
HDL. And they've been a company that has been around for a long time and provide these services. They provide services similar to this to over 390 public entities, many of them in California. So many within our county. San Rafael and Vallejo were the two that we reached out to and did a background check on and a reference check. And really HDL does a lot of services, but the one that we really wanted to look into right now is the sales tax. So where they evaluate our sales tax revenues, they audit our sales tax revenues. And then there's two separate sales tax revenues that we have, right? It's our sales tax measure, the 3/4 cent, and also the normal 1% that we receive. There's a different analysis that goes into that. And so they audit our sales tax revenues to make sure that we're getting everything that we should be. And there's a lot of nuances to it. I mean, you think about some of the new models with the online reporting. They actually represent the town, and they do all the work up front. And so that's a total of $6,200 for that service. Any revenues that they do find that we're not receiving, they get a percentage for a period of time. That's standard. We did compare them with some other services that provide similar services, and this is the best deal for us with those. And I think, sales tax revenue is big for us. We've also put our future infrastructure into sales tax revenue, and so I think it's important that we get an analysis of like where we're at. Are we doing what we should be doing? Are we getting what we should have? And how do we want them to represent us in the future? They also provide, and I'll put this in the back of the room afterwards, but they give us a report. The report's in the back, but we'll get a quarterly report from them, and they'll break down our sales tax revenues. Something that really interested me with this is Ken Nordoff. He's a retired city manager for San Rafael and Walnut Creek. In the last 20 years, he's probably one of the foremost leaders as a city manager. He's brilliant. And he's part of this team, and he's something that your town manager will now have as a resource as we evaluate the future. And so something else they do is they will give analysis to your town manager and finance director of where are our vulnerabilities as a town and what should we be thinking about moving forward. And so I'm really excited about this. Something else that we haven't done is we've never evaluated and have done an audit of our sales tax revenues. So regardless, I think this is important for us to consider at least year one and see what we come up with. I asked them in general, a town our size with the sales tax revenue that we receive, if we've never done an audit, what is their experience? What should we plan on seeing over the next year? And they anticipated anywhere from $30,000 to over $100,000 in revenues that they believe that is potentially out there. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I recommend that we consider their services for the next year. Again, it's negotiable. There's some cleanup language that Teresa's helping us with this contract. It also has a do not exceed clause of $10,000, and that's the intent of the $6,200 annual cost. It cannot exceed $10,000 at any point, and if it did, I'd have to come back to the council for your approval. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the council?
I have an anecdotal question. Having just acquired a new electric vehicle, I put money down, and a chunk of that went to sales tax. And sales tax was calculated based on where I live, right? And I assured them that it was 9.0%. How does that money make its way here? And is that one of the things that is essentially audited? Does it go to the franchise tax board or the BOE and then come back? And you know, how does anything, let's say for anybody who's acquiring something from out of town or out of state, and they pay the appropriate 9% sales tax, how do we know that that money is coming back around to Corte Madera?
Right, so the 1%, so it goes to the state, and then it would come back to us or the county pool. And so they audit all of that. And so there's a different auditing practice. And so really, where you're probably going to find some of the mistakes of those dealers that didn't realize the sales tax measure, the 0.75%. And so that's where they have I can go into it for a while, but it's a pretty in-depth analysis. And so that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
And they can track it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they find.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Got a couple questions, if I may. So presumably, this kind of goes without saying probably, because otherwise you wouldn't be bringing it to us, but the expectation is that we would be making back more than the fee we'd be paying in missed or lost revenues that we'd be catching, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great. And just to confirm, my understanding is that this firm that's going to be doing the auditing, they're sort of watching how the money comes in and making sure that everything that we're entitled to comes in and nothing more. And then the Citizens Sales Tax Oversight Committee is on the other end, sort of making sure that we're using it properly. So that's the two sort of distinct roles, right?
That's correct.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from council? Okay, then we're going to open it up for public comment. Any member of the public who wishes to comment on this? Okay, hearing none, then I will bring it back to the council for a possible motion and/or comment.
So
If nobody has comments, I'll make a motion if you got a
Okay,
comment.
go ahead.
Okay. I'll move that we approve, I'm going to do two motions. The first motion is to approve resolution number 58/2018, authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Hinderleiter, DeYamas and Associates for transactions and use tax audit and information services for the base amount of $6,600 per year, plus additional contingency fees.
Second.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Beckman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kuhnhart?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Andrews?
Yes.
Mayor Ravazio?
Yes.
I'll move that we approve resolution number 59/2018, authorizing examination of sales, use, and transactions tax records.
Second.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Beckman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kuhnhart?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Andrews?
Yes.
Mayor Ravazio?
Yes. Moving on to item 6.1.3, consideration and possible action to expand composition of the ad hoc finance committee to include up to 3 community members. and appoint them this evening. I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca and Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I want to thank Rebecca Vaughn because she's the one that did the recruitment and she's the one that wrote the staff report, which is much better than I could do. So thank you, Rebecca. I'm excited about this. As you know, back last year, we formed this ad hoc committee, and it consisted of the vice mayor and Diane First. And it was really to review the audit and difficult, high-level financial kind of issues to kind of problem solve it, work with staff, and then present those items to the council. And over the last year, I would argue that we have accomplished a lot, and it's really because of that ad hoc committee. When Diane retired from the council, the question was, what should this ad hoc committee look like and what should our role be? And we put it out to the community. The direction of the council at the time was to add one member. We received 3 applications. Annette Desano, Larry Reed, and Carl Spurzum applied. Their backgrounds are well known, and we all know them. I've worked closely with Larry and Carl on a number of financial issues over the past few years, and really have appreciated their support and guidance through that. The vice mayor and I met with the 3 candidates last week, and we had a great meeting. The good news is they're all interested in helping us. Their applications and resumes are attached to the staff report, but their experience speaks for itself. We're excited. We're recommending that we accept all 3, and now we'll have an ad hoc committee of the vice mayor, your finance director, your town manager, and then the 3 applicants. And we would really like them to review and problem solve all important financial matters with this town. And how we see it is those issues will work through the ad hoc committee, and then we'll follow up with some of our other committees, the Sales Tax Oversight Committee, BPAC, whatever that is. And by the time those issues get to the council, it'll be well vetted. And that process will really support us for good decision making. The first things that we have planned coming to this council will be the audit, and also the sewer lateral policy, because there's financial issues tied to that, and we want this group to vet that first. So those are the 2 big picture items that we want them to look at and come back to you on. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'm really excited to have this group. This is a power team, and we're going to get some stuff done. So.
Great. Any questions from the council for staff?
I have one. I know 2 of these individuals and have really great respect for them. One of them is in the room. I would love to get a face with a name on Annette, if she happens to be in the room or not. But from all 3 resumes, it looks really outstanding. We're getting fabulous service for a very good price.
Yeah, thank you, yes.
Questions from the council? Okay, then we're going to open it up for public comment. Hearing none. Then we will bring it back to the council for comments. And Rebecca, we need 2 separate motions on this, am I reading, or not? You think it can be one?
We can do 2, just to be safe.
Okay, so then I guess we're gonna do 2 separate motions. So any comments, or anybody want to make a motion? Yes, Eli.
I'd just like to thank these very qualified-looking individuals for agreeing to work with the town.
Thank you. I would too. I know 2 of them very, very well, and I'm thrilled that they're doing it. So it's great. And Larry's here tonight. Thank you, Larry. Anybody else?
Eli, if you want to make a motion, I'll second it.
So moved. About to read the.
You gotta make a motion.
Okay. I've never made a motion before, so. So let's.
It's your birthday, man.
Cameras are running.
All right. So we have.
Does that mean we have to vote for it?
Okay. So what's the second one?
Since it's birthday,
And-
we have to vote for it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Am I reading this off the staff report?
Go back to the beginning.
Very beginning. Thank you. Sorry, everyone.
No worries.
Excellent. Okay, I would like to make a motion to expand the composition of the ad hoc finance committee to include the town manager, the finance director, 1 council member, and up to 3 community members.
Second?
Councilmember Bailey.
Yes.
Councilmember Beckman.
Yes.
Councilmember Kuhnhart.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Andrews.
Yes.
Mayor Ravazio.
Yes.
Eli?
Second
Alrighty,
motion.
I would also like to make a motion to appoint applicants Annette DeSanto, Lawrence Reed, and Carl Spurzum to the Ad hoc Finance Committee to serve on an as-needed basis until the Ad hoc Committee is dissolved.
Second.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Beckman?
Yes.
Councilmember Kuhnhart?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Andrews?
Yes.
Mayor Ravazio?
Yes. Okay. Way to go, Eli.
Thanks.
That was great.
It takes a village, right?
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, town manager and council reports. Todd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Just a few things. I want to thank the fire department. They are outdoing the police as usual, it looks like, but they did some specialized training with the council members. I know you got to participate, so I'll let you guys tell that story, but that was Councilmember Beckman and Kuhnhart. So if you want to be volunteer firefighters in the future, you know, it sounds like you're more than welcome, maybe. We also had an open house at Central Marin Fire Department this Saturday, and there were tours of the station and the fire apparatus. That was very successful and well attended. We also had the Oktoberfest put on by our great beautification committee, and it was well attended. I understand that revenues were up for that, $8,000 to the previous year, so that's outstanding. We also are continuing our efforts with the help of the fire department on notifications of red flag warnings in the area, and also working closely with PG&E, making sure that we're informing our community of the PG&E efforts moving forward. And again, as Councilmember Bailey pointed out, our staff is pretty busy during the fire season, but we want to get them here to provide some updates for the council and the community on the efforts that we're making. Our RFP for the climate adaptation plan is currently underway, and so that's in progress. And we also, as you know, we do the wood chipper day, but something else we're expanding with our sales tax fire prevention revenues. We're also bringing the wood chipper to neighborhoods. And so Meadowcrest, later in the month, we're working with the neighborhood there. It's the first one of its kind for them to do some clearing, and we're going to bring the wood chipper out there and clear their brush. And if that's successful, we're actually going to do a full campaign and put that out there to the other neighborhoods.
Great.
And really help and improve our
That's a great
prevention
idea.
efforts. Yeah. So I want to thank Public Works, and actually Marla and Pula Orth, it was their idea, and I think it's really smart.
Great.
So also with the help of the ORS, we're doing some staff training, and then we're going to do free training for our community, and we're going to start with the NRG groups. It's CPR and first aid training, and so we're going to start doing that. In November, we have staff training, and then we have 2 to 3 trainings scheduled for our citizens, and so you'll see that advertised as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember reports. David?
Could I just, building directly on that, a reminder that the Christmas Tree Hill NRG is planning a evacuation drill on the 4th of November at 10 a.m., evacuating by any means and down to Menke Park. And want to make sure that that's something that is out there and that we have plenty of assistance and people are tolerant of any traffic jams that may result from that. Also want to report, as Todd referenced, both Councilmember Beckman and I had the great privilege of attending this Fire Ops 101 day. It was absolutely memorable, unforgettable. Going into the fire wagon, going into the completely blind search and rescue, and seeing how to do a treatment, all the sophisticated paramedic services that are available to treat somebody who's lying on the pavement. It was an unforgettable day and really very, very rewarding to do. I have no ambition to be a volunteer firefighter. I am superannuated, as they might say, and that experience that day proved that to my satisfaction.
Okay. Eli, reports?
Yeah, I also attended Fire Up, so that was fantastic. Thank you to all of the different fire staff that helped put that on. It was, I think, really helpful for all of us to kind of see what the job that we ask you guys to do is, and you perform a very difficult duty in protecting us, so thank you for that. Last Friday, I was able to tour the Central Marin Sanitation Agency's plant on Anderson Drive in San Rafael. That was really informative. What's his title? I think the director there, Jason Dow, general manager, Thank you. He gave me a fantastic presentation that sort of walked me through the history of the CMSA, its formation, and its operations. So that was really helpful in learning about the town's infrastructure and how that plays in, how that ties into the operations of that plant. He also had fantastic things to say about our public works staff. So we know that we've got great staff here. Apparently everyone else knows it too. So Fernanda and Peter Brown, who's not here tonight, excellent work to them. And then the last thing is, yesterday I believe I attended a planning meeting for the age-friendly intergenerational center. So we discussed present and future programming. We touched briefly on the public-private partnership that we're trying to develop, but there's nothing ready to report there yet. And I've got a copy of their program catalog here that was given to me to distribute to the council.
I just got one.
Oh, you got one? Okay.
I stole one from you.
That is all.
And
Great, thank you.
I forgot
Oh, you
something,
all
Mr.
have it?
Mayor.
All right.
I forgot something.
Yes.
An actual report on TAM. We haven't had a meeting, but the letter that I described that was in preparation going forward to MTC and the planning group for Route 37 rebuild has been prepared, did go forward asking for $15 million for the planning for raising the western portion of Route 37. This is the portion near the creek, the Petaluma Creek, that flooded for 4 weeks or 5 weeks at the beginning of last year. And obviously is a critical piece of that entire strip, all of which needs to be lifted and modernized. So I just wanted to make sure, and I forwarded the letter, the copy of that letter to the town manager, and that's all.
Thank you. Bob.
No reports, Bob, but my compliments and congratulations to the Corte Madera Lions Club and the Community Foundation for an excellent Oktoberfest this last weekend. And also my compliments and gratitude to Councilmember Kuhnhart for covering a Marine Clean Energy meeting I couldn't make. I gave him very short notice, very little prep, but with no complaints. He stepped up and did it, so I thank you for that, David.
And I had a written report too.
You did.
Thanks. Jim?
Nothing to report.
Okay. First off, I'm thrilled you guys got to go to Fire Ops 101. I was physically unable to go this year, but I got to go several years ago, and it is, without a doubt, one of the best days you will ever spend, because you really get an idea of what these guys do for a living. And it's
They're such a professional group. I mean, the Marin Professional Firefighters is no accidental name. It is absolutely a very professional, integrated group.
I'm glad you guys made it. We had a meeting of the MC Homelessness Committee.
Oh.
We actually met here just last Wednesday. And I just wanted to quickly, I know we're talking about getting the showers here. So we just had some statistics that they gave us they have given 1,053 showers so far, and that's in San Rafael and Novato. But amazingly, they have now gotten, of the people who've taken showers, they've gotten 7 people fully employed. They've gotten 3 people into full-time housing. They've gotten 7 people into medical care through Ritter. And they found a person and had him reunited with his family back in Mississippi. So he's moved back. So it's a great program. We're seeing progress, and we're happy to see it coming to Corte Madera. We also we had a presentation by Ken Shapiro, who talked about whole person care, which the simplified version is basically what they are doing is they're bringing people into the system and then getting everything electronically registered and communicated between all the various systems the county has. So when they get someone into the system, they can immediately check their medical records and figure out, what they need and how they can help. And then, again, more progress, and we're actually, I think, getting somewhere. It's not easy, but these are things that are actually working. So we're happy to continue to support that. Okay, that's it. Then let's move on to item 8.1, review of the draft agenda for November 5th, 2018 Town Council meeting. And that's 8.1. Are there any comments?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is a moving target, this one. I just want to point out that we do have a public hearing scheduled, and that's to introduce amendments for our social host ordinance. There's been a lot of discussion at the county level regarding that. The County of Marin did pass a social host ordinance, and so this has been reviewed by the Central Marin Police Authority Council, and their recommendation is to provide, I think it's 4 amendments to the JPA and mirror Corte Madera, Larkspur, and San Anselmo. So we're going to be the first to review it, and that'll come to us again at the next meeting. Business item 1 we're going to remove that, and I think the intent, that was the consideration, possible action to authorize an additional full-time employee in Public Works. I think we're going to do a presentation instead, and just individual staff, like, what are we trying to accomplish, and what do we need to accomplish those tasks? And so both planning and building and Public Works have an interesting kind of conversation, and so I'm going to approach it that way instead of coming to you with a specific request. I think we need to step back and tell a story first, so. And with that, I'm happy to consider any other additions to this agenda, if you want to talk about it now. One thing that we did discuss, staff met with Councilmember Kuhnhart to discuss some climate action possibilities, and something that jumped out to staff and Councilmember Kuhnhart was, back in 2016, the Corte Madera Climate Action Plan. It's something that we accepted, but we didn't approve as a council, and so that has meaning. And so we thought it was a pretty good report. We thought that maybe staff should take another shot at that to review it, see if we want to make any changes. Councilmember Kuhnhart also helped us and provided some recommendations. And potentially, if it's okay with the mayor and the council, we'd like to bring that back to you, and just for consideration, is it something we're interested in accepting? So we have a different council in place, and it may be something that we want to consider.
Okay.
And so that will be coming. If you're okay with it, it would probably be the meeting in November.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Any questions or comments from the council?
Do we have the consultant back, or can we do it without it?
I think we can. We can get a little bit of feedback, but yes, we don't have to spend a lot of money. I think it's Councilmember Kuhnhart, it's probably 80-90% there. There's some changes that we're going to recommend, and I'm sorry, it would be the December meeting, not the
December meeting, okay.
And
It's just one meeting in November, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and maybe one in December. Holidays.
And there's some factual things that have changed in the world that need to be updated in that report, so.
Any questions about the agenda? Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you very much.